Hey everyone, welcome back to episode 12 of the Nerd Herder Show. I'm Rich.
I'm Nick.
And today we're going to be talking about what we're up to. So Nick,
Hey.
what are you up to?
Well, not too much.
Okay.
And also a lot. There's a lot of TV on,
There is.
and I watch too much of it. So I was just going to highlight one show in particular that wrapped up its season in a nice little bow. And that's Scream Queens, a show that I think on one of our first episodes I talked about the pilot. So the season finale, potentially series finale, it hasn't been picked up, it hasn't been renewed yet, but all of the commercials, Fox have billed it as the season finale, not the series finale. So we'll see. It ended with the two-episode finale the other night, and this show might have been the most enjoyable week-to-week show I watched this fall.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I was a big fan of the pilot. I haven't talked about it since. It's just so much fun. It found this really great line of being over the top, but also scary, having gory deaths, but being funny. And that's not always the easiest line to walk. But the second hour of this opened up with this funny dialogue over somebody getting stabbed 37 times. You watch it happen just over and over, this person getting stabbed. And in any other situation, you'd be like, should we be watching this at 8 o'clock on a normal channel?
Yeah.
But it was really hilarious. The payoff of who the killer or killers was really rewarding.
Okay.
And it sets itself up. If it was the end, it's a good finale.
Cool.
And if it needs to continue, it could easily continue in a good, plausible way. And he's already said, Ryan Murphy, who I'm not a fan of. I'm not a fan of the guy. I didn't like Glee. I don't like American Horror Story. I didn't like his HBO movie that he did. I definitely didn't like the movie he made where Reese Witherspoon was dead. That was bad. I don't remember what that was called. But I like this show. And he already said his main influence on this movie was on this show was the tone of Clueless and Heathers, and he said that he has another thing that he wants to go for the tone totally different for the second season, and that could be cool too. I would definitely recommend it to people. I recommend it to you. I recommended it back then. I recommend it again.
So here's my question to you. Yeah. When this show started, one of your concerns was, and I think you had the same concern with stuff like Scream and things like that when those series aired, is how well is a week-to-week show going to deal with, there's a killer out there, how long can this go on for? Did it work, or did it feel fatigued at some point?
It works on this. I think it works more on this than maybe something like Scream might, because it is a satire in a way. It is over the top. And so it's more when you have these sorority girls who constantly their friends and fellow students are getting killed, but they don't totally care because they're kind of bitches. It's more believable that it could keep going than something that takes itself too serious. And also they've already said if it does continue, it will be the surviving characters, but in a different setting. Not an anthology like American Horror Story. It'll be the same story, but they'll be in a new place. They'll be a new sort of story. So it's not going to be the same. We know who the killer is. We know who the Red Devil is at this point. And so a little bit different than Scream.
All right.
Yeah. Definitely a recommendation from me. Just that Scream Queens. It was on Fox. I'm sure you can get the entire series on Hulu or something like that. All 13 episodes. It's well worth your time. Check it out. Well, what have you been up to?
Well, like you, I only have one thing to talk about this week. I saw Krampus.
Oh, yeah.
I believe I put that as my most anticipated, well, outside of Star Wars.
Your non-Star Wars most anticipated.
Which we didn't say at the top of this, 2 days away. 2 days away. Star Wars is 2 days away. If you're seeing it opening night. But
I have a second thing. Go ahead. Keep going.
Okay, you sure?
Yeah, we'll go back.
Okay.
Ping pong.
So, Krampus. I really, really liked it. I have a feeling this is going to easily be an annual watch for me. If you like Trick or Treat, I think you'll like this. It's the same kind of tone as Trick or Treat. It balances that, similar to Scream, it balances the humor and the horror of it. And it's not a humor, it's not a horror comedy in the sense of something like Evil Dead 2 or Dead Alive or things like that, where it's like it's going to make you laugh out loud. It's just like really, it's a little ridiculous, but it's fun. Like Trick or Treat, it has some very funny moments, but it's really not a horror comedy. It's just kind of a fun horror film, and this sort of falls into that same kind of categories. It's a very fun horror film. And it's just a good kind of twisted Christmas story that, we need. And it does the same kind of thing Trick or Treat does, where, Trick or Treat is all about the traditions of Halloween and the spirit of Halloween and keeping that kind of thing alive. And this kind of tackles the same thing, but with Christmas, kind of the Christmas spirit and, what Christmas means to different people and how they act during the holidays and things like that. It's definitely worth your time.
Cool. So it's a fun movie.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
One of the things that a lot of people were kind of like iffy on was when it came out that it was PG-13. Is that an issue?
No, it wasn't for me. Like there was one or two moments where I can't say for sure because I don't know, where I could almost have seen like they maybe like trimmed like a line off or a word off, or they were about to be like, "Oh, you mother," and like something happened and got cut off. Like I could almost see where like just little things maybe got trimmed off, or a little bit of blood might have got CGI'd out, but I can't say for sure. But it definitely didn't take away from the film. I couldn't have cared less watching it. Like, oh, there's not enough blood, or there's not enough, like it didn't. That wasn't a thought that ever crossed my mind. It was just, I'm having a good time. This is a lot of fun. I'll be watching this again next year.
Good. So Michael Dougherty, Trick or Treat. Now this Halloween, Christmas.
Yeah.
Is there another holiday you'd like to see him tackle?
Any of them. I mean, I think Easter and Thanksgiving were the next two to hit. He did a little bit of Easter. I don't know if you remember when Trick or Treat came out. He kind of did like these little holiday promos throughout the year. Did you ever see those for FearNet? And they were like, the Easter one was like, oh, like this family kind of bringing in like for their Easter dinner, and they pull the lid off, and there's like a rabbit like screaming in where the turkey's supposed to be, and like the little girl pulls out like a chocolate rabbit and it's got a giant razor blade out of it, and like everyone's just like freaking out. And kind of throughout the year they did a bunch of different like little just 30-second, 1 minute kind of promos, and it was like, instead of Easter it was like, oh, happy 6 months till Halloween and things like that. So I can see them doing, tackling something like that. And if Eli Roth wasn't doing like his Thanksgiving, assuming that's still happening, I could see him doing something along those lines.
Is he actually going to make that?
That last I heard.
Oh, interesting.
It could have changed. It may have changed. But the last thing I heard is he was supposed to be making Thanksgiving.
Interesting. Cool.
But
so, and it did pretty well at the box office weekend, surprisingly. It probably made more than Trick or Treat ever made in its entire run.
I'm sure. Trick or Treat got like 2 screens and then dumped and then shelved and then dumped. And I remember seeing some report like it beat out like Good Dinosaur and like all kinds of stuff.
It made like $15 million, which is a low opening for most movies, but for that I'm sure they were happy with it.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's in theaters now. Go see it. You reminded me when you said that was your most anticipated of December, non-Star Wars, with the caveat there.
2 days away.
I remembered that when we recorded last week's What We Were Up To, I immediately went out and saw my most anticipated movie of November.
Okay.
And I have not talked about that yet. And that was Spotlight.
The
new movie from Tom McCarthy about the investigative team from the Boston Globe who uncovered the Boston Priest child sexual abuse scandal. And I was really excited for this. Early buzz on it was it's in the something in the quality and in the vein of All the President's Men, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. Great cast: Ruffalo, Michael Keaton, Rachel McAdams, etc. Down the line. Great, Stanley Tucci. It lived up to the hype.
Really?
Absolutely. This movie is incredible. It really is. Like, I think my initial thought, I like tweeted out or put on Facebook or something, that it's kind of one of those movies that reminds you why you love going to the movies. For somebody like me. This isn't a movie for everybody, but it really is. Like, I love this type of story. It's not a movie about the priests who are touching kids. It is about the journalists uncovering this.
Okay.
So it is very much, there's not a scene of a kid being taken or anything.
It's more of like
It's
the
not
mystery
it's not about that.
investigation kind
Yeah.
of thing of it. Okay.
And it really does get you thinking about like how the hell was this happening, and like there's a part at the end, and it's not spoiling anything. You can't spoil it. It's real life anyway. But like after the movie's over, like it shows like all of the cities where major sexual scandals with priests have been uncovered, and it's just like hundreds of cities, and then it goes to the next screen, hundreds of cities, and it's just like, oh my god. And if these guys hadn't broken the story, it would have never came out. And it's like, oh my god. But it shows kind of, it has a great love for journalism, a great love for newspaper, and a great admiration for what these guys did. And it just walks the line so cleverly. It never has like the scene where like these guys are walking home and they think they're being followed. Like it never does any of that bullshit. It's just like down, like to the point, well made. The acting's incredible. Definitely a highlight of the year for me.
Great.
So.
Yeah, I think everybody I've talked to, like any of my movie friends who've seen it have all been like, this is my favorite film of the year. This is Best Picture. I'm really excited to finally get around to seeing this.
Yeah, you need to see it soon, and everybody should. It's phenomenal. So, and Liev Schreiber also in it as the editor. And he's one of my Entertainment Weekly a few years ago, I think around the time when Liev Schreiber was playing Sabretooth in X-Men Origins Wolverine, they ran an article that said Liev Schreiber is the greatest actor of his generation. That was the headline. And ever since that, I just find him hilarious because he's never lived up to that. I don't know where they come off saying that, ever. Like, yes, Cotton Weary from the Scream movies. Greatest actor of his generation. But he is great in it. But anyway, that's what I've been up to. That's what you've been up to.
Cool. What have you guys been up to?
Yeah, we want to know.
Let us know. And also, since it is the holidays, it is Christmas time, somewhere in this room we have a hidden Santa.
Where could he be?
Where is he? So if you find the Santa, please leave a comment, let us know where the Santa is, or tweet at us, let us know. If you do want to tweet us, you can tweet at me, at Rich Belson.
Or me, at Stonks.
Or the channel, at 08beer_official. You can also email us at overbeerofficial@gmail.com and find us on Facebook at facebook.com/overbeer. Once we hit 100 subscribers, which we don't have right now, I can give you a little YouTube URL that can bring you right to our channel. But until then, you can just find us to this video. I'm sure there's a title somewhere. If you put your mouse up, and you can click it, and it'll take you to the YouTube page or the YouTube link for the video, which will take you to the channel. So if you do like these, please share them with your friends and subscribe to our channel. Any thoughts on the things that we've seen, anything that we need to see, please leave comments. If you do, we'll like them, we'll reply, we'll comment, we'll poke ya, we'll super poke ya, we'll throw sheep at ya, we'll do all that fun stuff. But until next time, we'll see ya.